Have you tried everything? Have you prayed in silence and out loud? Have you cried when no one was watching? Have you waited when everything inside you was asking for an immediate answer? And even so, has the sky remained silent? There is a kind of tiredness that doesn't come from the body. It is born in the soul when hope seems to move slower than pain, when the heart carries questions that find no clear answers, when faith still exists, but no longer pulses with the same strength as before. Have you ever felt that? Feeling that you keep believing, but something inside is wounded, continuing to pray, but carrying the weight of uncertainty, moving forward, but with the sense of carrying an invisible battle. This kind of silence does not shout. It whispers. It seeps into your thoughts. It affects decisions, relationships, identity, courage, and dreams. If you made it this far, it was not by accident. There are encounters that are not random. There are messages that arrive exactly when the heart is most sensitive. There are words that find the right person at the exact moment. This channel is not for the curious. It is not for those who seek only religious information, theological debates, or biblical curiosities. Voices of the Scriptures is not a channel of ancient stories told by tradition. It is a space for encounter, a space for restoration, a space for spiritual reconnection. Here, the Bible is not just a book that is studied. It is a mirror that reveals emotions, wounds, fears, choices, and paths. It is a voice that crosses generations to speak into real life. Here, the Scriptures are not only read, they confront, they heal, they awaken. You who feel forgotten in the rush of life. You who carry old rejections that still weigh on your memory. You who love God, but notice your faith feels fragile on some days. You who keep walking, even without fully understanding the journey. Here, there is a place for you, because the pains you face today were not born only in your time. They have been lived before, in other contexts, by other people, and recorded in the Word so that we would not walk alone. These are voices that still echo today. Here you will hear stories such as Leah, who experienced deep rejection, yet found purpose. Hagar, who experienced abandonment, yet was found by the God who sees. Jacob, who lived through inner conflicts, escapes, and confrontations that redefined his identity. Job, who walked through the silence of God without losing the integrity of his heart. And many other voices that have crossed centuries, cultures, and realities, bringing examples of faith, perseverance, restoration, repentance, maturity, and hope. These stories do not belong only to the past. They continue to speak into our daily choices, into our silent fears, into our difficult decisions, into our emotional and spiritual battles. They help us interpret life more deeply. They offer direction when the mind feels confused. They bring balance when emotions are overwhelmed. They remind us that no one walks alone on the inner journey. This channel exists to awaken a faith that, at some point, fell asleep, to restore those who lost their strength along the way, to remind us that God's silence does not mean abandonment, to show that pain also participates in the process of growth and spiritual maturity, to help people find meaning even when the circumstances do not seem favorable. Here, every video is an invitation, not simply to watch passively, but to reflect deeply, to feel honestly, to awaken areas of the heart that became dormant from the weariness of life. The Word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap with joy." Psalm 126:5. This promise does not ignore pain. It acknowledges the process. It honors the journey. It points toward a hope that matures over time. If today you are crying, that does not define your future. If today you do not understand, that does not end your story. If today the path feels confusing, that does not mean you are lost. Growth is happening even when you do not notice it. Learning is being built even in silence. Inner strength is being formed behind the scenes of life. Welcome to Voices of the Scriptures, a place where the Bible meets your pain, where ancient stories touch present wounds, where deep questions find direction, where faith stops being theory and becomes experience. Here, God continues to speak, even when the world is loud, even when the heart is tired, even when the answers seem distant, because some voices do not shout, they echo.